Hello and welcome to Hooray. Today we are going to learn in detail about another question type in the reading component of the IELTS test. This question is yes, no, not given questions. Firstly, you will be presented with a list of facts. You then have to look at the text in order to decide if the facts are yes, no, or not given. 1. If the text agrees with or confirms the information in the statement, the answer is yes. 2. If the text contradicts or is the opposite of the information in the statement, the answer is no. And if there is no information or it is impossible to know, then the answer would be not given. You have to use the right code. You should not use short forms like Y, N and NG. If you do so, you will be marked 0. You will have 4 to 7 combinations of such questions in the reading test. The passage discusses the opinions of the author or another group of people. Let's look at a sample passage. What are concepts made of? Is the heading of the passage, and there is a long passage here. And let's look at the questions asked based on the given passage. The first statement says symbolic cognition involves combining other pieces of abstract information. The explanation for this is the correct answer being yes. Aggregating means combining. The answer lies in the third paragraph where it says, according to this view, when we hear banana, we do not simulate anything that derives from our previous experiences. Instead, we understand its meaning by aggregating bits of information via abstract symbols such as zeros and the ones inside a computer. In the example 2, the statement says grounded cognition involves experiencing things like bananas emotionally. The answer is no. Our emotional experiences, help us to understand abstract concepts, and bananas are not abstract. The answer lies in paragraph 2. It says, for freedom, they argue that we would still actuate instances or situations in which we experienced freedom, but the focus would now be on the emotions that such experiences triggered and on the dynamics between the elements that populate such situations rather than on the perceptual properties of the entities involved. Let's look at example 3. The sentence says in the question, humans are superior to animals because we have language. The answer is not given. If you see this paragraph, it says, while concrete concepts are mainly made of information derived from perceptual experience, abstract concepts are mainly made of language. And as such, abstract concepts represent the highest and most sophisticated achievement in the evolution of language and probably a major turning point in the evolution of humankind. The answer is not given because there is reference to humankind here but not to animals. So it is not given that humans are superior to animals because we have language. Let's look at some of the common problems that one faces in answering yes, no, not given question types. The first problem is that you might not be able to paraphrase the question in the statement correctly. Also, matching the words instead of the entire meaning of the sentence. You're not supposed to just match one particular word which is given in the question to the paragraph, because sometimes the entire meaning may not be in the paragraph, but they may just give you one word which would be present in the paragraph, and the answer would be not given. This could sometimes be confusing. Identifying keywords could be difficult for some people, and also finding the difference between not given and false is sometimes tricky. Sometimes there may be too much time on one question which is spent, which will not give sufficient time for the remaining questions. Let's look at some of the tips and techniques to answer the questions yes, no, not given. You need to read the question or the statement and understand it correctly. You have to skim through the question, and if you're doubtful, you read the rest. You need to understand, focus on the overall meaning of the sentence and not individual words. You need to understand the general idea and not specific words. You need to identify keywords and differentiate in two similar options. You need to identify synonyms and signifying verbs. Let's look also at some general tips to answer yes, no, not given question types. You need to read voraciously. You also need to learn to identify keywords in the sentence question. You should have a good vocabulary. You have to learn to have inference of ideas. Questioning the text is another tip. Learning to read fast is essential. See how many words you read in a minute. Time yourself and read, and check for the growth in your everyday learning practice. You need to do a research on a lot of topics from a library to be able to understand different subjects. Reading fluency will improve when you use a progress meter. You need to also listen to a lot of readers to be able to understand various subjects. Look at the sight words in the sentences to be able to understand the context. With this, we come to the end of yes, no, not given question types, the reading component in the IELTS test. Thank you and all the best in your learning.